Hello everyone and welcome back to Meek Belief Reviews. My name is Jeffrey.
And I am Jacob.
And today we're doing my 25 through 21 top 25 games of all time. 2016 edition.
Of all time, Jeffrey.
No, they're not of all time.
Whew.
I definitely find that my tastes have changed.
Just over the last year or two,
yeah.
3.
And I mean, there's always new games coming out. So
exactly.
To say of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the 2016 version of my top 25 games list.
Now, before we get started, we also want to say that we have an intro video out where we discuss how we picked our top 25s, and we're also doing a mini competition. We talk about what that's all about.
Yep.
So without further ado, let's get into this.
My number 25 game is, this falls into the category of one that I want to play, but I haven't played in a while because I can't get anyone to play it with me.
Okay.
But I still really love the game.
Okay.
And that is Mage Knight.
Mage Knight, yes. Okay.
I've played that game 20 times.
Wow.
At least that I've logged plays for. Yeah, I mean it's awesome. It's always a challenge every time you play the game. There's so many different scenarios. Trying to build a deck that actually does everything that you need it to. Like you need to move, you need to be able to attack, you need to, do I try and go through this desert during the day, or do I wait till night and go through it? It's all about biding your time, and because the round ends when one of the other players runs out of their deck. So if you're both taking your time, then it's fine. But if one person's really burning through their deck and you're just kind of la-di-dying, then it's really interesting. Okay. So
this is a game that I've only played once.
Yeah.
And we played a harder scenario. The very first monster I fought wrecked me and put 5 wounds in my deck or something like that. And then I would just draw all wounds, or 3 wounds and 2 other cards, and I could never do anything.
Yeah, I made the mistake of the game is hard.
Yeah.
The game you need to play.
I got wrecked.
And I was like, oh, this is an easy game. You can just pick it up. Let's just go to one of the hard scenarios.
Yeah.
Instead of the easy scenario where you just have to travel across the board, basically.
Right. And it wasn't like it was overly complicated or anything. It was just the first combat I went into, I didn't know, the detriments of failing certain combats, and I just happened to go into combat with something that I couldn't beat.
Yeah.
And it destroyed me. And then as I was drawing my deck, you draw cards for movement and cards for combat and all these other things. And I would never draw enough cards for the movement that I needed to, as far as I needed to go. Or I would just draw all movement when I was going to go into combat.
Yeah.
And it was just I couldn't do anything that I wanted to do in the game due to poor draws, and then the fact that I got wrecked early on and had all these wounds, and I was struggling to get rid of them out of my deck. So I didn't enjoy it that much, but I can see how it could be a great game, and it's something I'd be willing to play a second time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so that's my number 25.
Now that I've gotten over it, I'd be willing to play.
It took a year.
Yeah, it took a year. I was that stupid game.
Yeah, so that's my number 25, Mage Knight.
I had that as your number 19. Oh. So I have it on the list, but it's not in the correct bracket, so I don't get a bonus point.
All right.
So close.
My number 24 is a game that the expansion helped put on the list.
Okay.
There's a couple of these games on my top 25 where had it just been the base game that was out, it wouldn't have made it. But the expansion put it there.
I think I pulled this off your list at the last minute.
And that's Russian Railroads.
No! I had that on your list and I pulled it off.
So I've played this game 7 times now.
Yeah.
And I played the base game a few times, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I see what's here. But then when we played the expansion German Railroads, I was like, wow, there's so much more.
Yeah. And
every time after I play the game, I want to play it again.
Right.
To try and do better. It's one of those, you got to build this efficiency engine. Be efficient with your actions. And you're building these railroads, and you're like, oh, which railroad am I going to build this time? And with those like the expansion, when you put those tiles so you can have your own customized railroad, it really becomes yours, and you can really make it do what you want to do. It's such a great game. It plays quickly too, like 2-3 player game in about an hour, and you get that much depth and that many choices. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel exactly the same way about this game as you do. With as just the core game, Russian Railroads. It's good, but I feel like you can solve the game within a couple plays.
Yeah.
You add in German Railroads, and it explodes with variability, and there's so many more options there. Great game. Good pick.
And the way, like, when you get a good game, when the pieces just line up and you do well, like, you, like, smoke everyone else by, like, not like by, like, 10 points or 25 points, but like
100.
By, like, 100 points. So it feels that much more awesome when you do get something that works well.
Yeah, we had 2 games in a row where it was the reverse. You like doubled my score, and then the following game I beat you by like 100 points or something like that. And it was just everything clicked for us in those specific games, and it was just like yeah.
So that's my number 24.
Right,
Russian Railroads.
Great pick.
Number 23 is a game.
Is it a game though?
It is a game. That kind of falls into the same boat as Mage Knight, where I've played it a whole bunch before, but I just don't have the group to play it with anymore, sadly.
Okay.
And it's funny, in one of the podcast episodes, we talked about games that killed other games.
Right.
And I said that Blood Rage had killed this game for me.
Right, yeah.
But now after playing Blood Rage some more, I definitely think I like Chaos in the Old World better. Yeah. So that's my number 23 is Chaos in the Old World.
Yeah, and I had that, but I have it as number 20. Again, just out of the bracket. So only 1 point for that.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I just feel it adds more depth of strategy than Blood Rage.
Right.
It's more, there's more that you can try, and you're trying to do so much more. You're trying to get these click counters so that you can rotate your like power wheel.
And that's really cool.
And you can get like upgrades, and you can choose the different upgrades that you give to your guys, and you can really customize your god how you want. And it's the only thing that is hard about the game is the barrier to entry, I feel, is quite high, because you're asymmetrical at the very beginning, and each god plays really different from the other ones.
Yeah.
It's hard to get new people in, especially if you're playing with a lot of new people at once, to try and tell them, okay, well, this is your god, this is kind of what you should be looking at doing.
Right.
But I mean, I played this game 25 times.
Wow. Yeah, you played it a lot before you met me.
Yeah.
You did bring it to one game night. I've played it once. I played it as the rat people, Corn.
The horned rat.
The horned rat.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was very difficult to learn because of the fact that everything is asymmetrical, and the horned rat as well plays very different from the other ones as far as scoring.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. I usually learn by watching other people and what they're doing. If there's a mechanic that I don't fully understand, and it was just like, I have no idea. So it's just kind of rolling with the punches, going with it.
Yeah.
It was a decent enough game. I really like that dial mechanic. That fascinated me. I was just like, oh man, this is so cool.
Yeah, and the fact that there's 2 ways you can win. You can either win via points. The first person to get the 50 points wins. Or you can win by ticking your dial all the way to where it says that you win. Right. And each of the gods have different number of ticks that they need to get to win. So it's really cool. Very, very, very asymmetrical.
Right.
But that just gives it more replayability.
Sure.
Because you can try the different gods, try different strategies with the different gods. So much replayability in this game. I wish that we had the people to play it with. I mean, really, it's a 4-player game.
Okay.
And
it doesn't play well with 2 or 3.
No. And with the expansion, it's a 4 or 5 player game. So it's just, we don't get 4 or 5 people that often. So it doesn't come to the table as much. But hopefully someday.
Right.
So that's my number 23, Chaos in the Old World.
Yeah, I can't say much more because I haven't played at all. I don't remember that game as well too much.
Well, it was years ago now.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago.
Okay, my number 22 is a racing game.
Racing game.
I bet you didn't think that I would have a racing game on my list.
Okay. I don't know if I have a racing. Well, it depends what you consider a racing game.
It's
Could be that game.
It's where you're racing to find the Pacific Ocean. Lewis and Clark.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I did not have that. I did not have that.
I've played it 7 times, and it's kind of like a sleeper for me.
Okay.
Like I don't talk about it a lot. I don't suggest to bring it out a lot. But every time I think about it, I'm like, man, that's a good game. Like the clever use of the cards, and you got to power them with other cards, so you can't play all your cards at once. And then once you play them out, you have to actually take an action to bring them all back into your hand. Mm-hmm. So you're trying to build up these combos, and you got to carry resources, but you have to carry them in your like canoes and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, I could take 10 wood right now, but should I take 10 wood?
Right.
Because that's just going to bog down my convoy of canoes and everything. So it gives you a lot of decisions to make. What cards am I going to use? I mean, I can take this much. Should I take this much? And there's like worker placement, and the fact that it's kind of like a racing game. You see people getting ahead of you, and you're like, oh man, I need to
catch up.
I need to catch up.
Yeah, that's a really cool game. I really like this one as well. It doesn't hit the table very often, so I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that you're kind of rehashing everything for me, I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Oh yeah, I really like that. And
yeah. Well, I remember one of the games that I played. Like, I mean, it was like a nail biter down to the end. Like,
right.
We were like turns of each other of getting across the finish line. It was just like, oh, can I do it?
Yeah.
Can I do it? Can I get there? So
and if you do cross the finish line, it's not necessarily the first person, but the person who's the furthest ahead.
It's the first person who crosses the finish line wins the game.
So even if I cross it after you and make it further, you still won.
I still win because it's the first person to get there.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you sail halfway across the Pacific Ocean.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that's my number 22.
Oh man, I need to step up my game here.
Okay, my number 21.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be much of a surprise. But well, I think this game might be a surprise, but this is the first game by a particular designer on my list, and there's going to be a few more by him. Okay. And again, this is kind of another sleeper one for me. Mm-hmm. I don't talk about it a lot, but I think about it all the time, and every time I play it, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I want to play it again.
Right.
And it's Fields of Arle.
Dang it. I've never played this game. I don't even know anything about it. I know zero information about this game.
It's a 2-player only game.
Okay.
And it's really, I think it's his most open like sandbox type game. Okay. You have like this little farmland, and you have dikes that you got to move so you can make more of your farmland habitable. The same sort of farming thing. You're getting peat and animals and wood and all these different things, but there's so much that you can do. And every time I play, I just want to do so much, but you gotta focus. Like you can get a whole bunch of sheep and then shear them to get the wool, and then take the wool and convert it into clothes to get more victory points. And it has a very interesting upgrade mechanic where you need to build these sort of wagons that have spaces on them. And in order to upgrade your components, you're basically sending them to town and having someone upgrade your components for you. Mm-hmm. So you're always limited by how much you can do by how many wagons you have. And you're traveling to these different towns and selling these different resources. Yeah, it's a really great game. It's so open sandbox. You can do whatever you want, and sometimes you just get into that trap where you're like, oh, maybe I can do one extra thing, but you shouldn't.
Right. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I don't like. I can't visualize the game because I haven't seen anything on it other than what you've just told me. That's the first I've ever heard of this game. I mean, I've seen it in stores and stuff, but it's never been something I've looked at.
I mean, it's a huge box. There's so many components and stuff like that, and there's like even buildings that you can build that give you like special abilities that allow you to do different things.
Okay.
I think this is the game with my least number of plays on the list. I've only played this 4 times.
Okay.
But again, it's one that I think will come to the table every like 2-3 months, and it'll just keep coming to the table that often for years to come.
Right.
Because there's so much to explore in the game.
Right.
So that's my number 21, Feels Viral.
Yeah. So that's your 21 through 25.
And you got 2?
I scored 2 out of 10 possible points. Off to a great start. Yeah, wow. So that's, I mean, some of those games I haven't played very much.
Right.
But the ones that I have played a lot of, I guess the only one was really Russian Railroads. Yeah. And that was a good pick. The rest of them, sure. Why not?
This is my list, Jake.
Yeah. Why not, Jeffrey?
All right, that's my 25 through 21. Check out. Stay tuned for the rest of my list.
Yeah, stay tuned. We got there's going to be 10 total videos. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll stay tuned, watch them all, and give us your comments. If you've played these games, let me know if he's actually right or if he's completely wrong about them.
All right. See you guys in a bit.
Thanks for watching.